reproduction. From there, we are going to be continuing our this part that is the male reproductive system. I have this much time to read and finish it as much as possible. If I have enough time, I will do cover the female reproductive part too. But let's main concern on the male reproductive part. First, let's start with the paragraphs introduction. Human reproduction. As you are aware, humans are sexually reproducing and viviparous. The reproductive events in human includes formation of gametes, gametogenesis, sperm in the male and the ova in the female, transfer of sperm into the female genital tract, insemination, and fusion of male and female gametes, its fertilization, leading to the formation of zygote. There is followed by formation of development of blastocyst and its attachment to the uterine wall, implantation, embryonic development, gastration, and of the body develop of the baby, parturition, delivery of the baby, it's the parturition. So let me correct it. Its attachment to the uterine wall is the implantation, embryonic development, gastration, and delivery of the baby is called as parturition. You may learn that reproductive events occur these reproductive events occur after puberty. There is a remarkable difference between the reproductive events in the male and in the female. For example, sperm formation continues even in old men, but formation of ova ceases in women around age of 50 years. Let us examine the male and female reproductive system in human. The male and the female reproductive system in humans. First of all, we have to be look on the male reproductive system. That is the male reproductive system. The male reproductive system is located in the pelvic region. It is include a pair of testes. Testes are in pair along with the accessory ducts, glands, and the external genitalia. With that, the testes are situated outside the abdominal cavity. Testes are situated outside the abdominal cavity within a pouch called the scrotum. The scrotum help in the maintaining the low temperature of the testes 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius lower than the normal internal body temperature necessary for the spermatogenesis. In adult, each testis is oval in shape with a length of about 4 to 5 centimeter and a width of about 2 to 3 centimeter. The testis is covered by a dense covering. Each testis has about 250 compartments called the testicular lobules. Again, in adults, each testis is oval in shape with a length of about 4 to 5 centimeter. The length of the testis is 4 to 5 centimeter and the width is about 2 to 3 centimeter. Testis is covered by a dense covering. Each testis has about 250 compartments called the testicular lobules. Each lobule contain 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubules. First of all, there is a large compartment known as testicular lobules. There are 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubule is there located in the testicular lobules in which sperms are produced. Each seminiferous tubule is lined on its inside by two types of cells called as germ cell and which is also known as spermatogonia and the Sertoli cells. The male germ cells undergo meiotic division, finally leading to the sperm formation, while the Sertoli cells provide nutrition to the germ cells. The region outside the seminiferous tubule called the interstitial space, containing small blood vessels and interstitial cells or Leydig cells. Leydig cells synthesize and secrete testicular hormones called the androgen. Again, the region outside the seminiferous tubule called the interstitial space containing blood vessels and interstitial cells or the Leydig cells. Leading cells. The leading cells synthesize and secrete testicular hormone called the androgen. Other immunological competence cells are also present. The male sex accessory ducts include test, retitestis, vas efferentia, epididymis, vas deferens. The seminiferous tubule of the testis open into the vasa efferentia through the retitestis. The vasa efferentia leaves the testis. Vasa efferentia leave the testis and open into the epididymis located along the posterior surface of the each testis. The epididymis leads to the vas deferens that ascend to the abdomen and loop over the urinary bladder. It receives a duct from the seminal vesicle and open into the urethra as the ejaculatory duct. It receives a duct from the seminal vesicle and open into the urethra as the ejaculatory duct. These ducts store and transport the sperm from testis to the outside through the urethra. The urethra originates from the urinary bladder and extends through the penis to its external opening called the urethral meatus. The penis is male external genitalia. It is made up of the special tissue that help in the erection of the penis to facilitate the insemination. The enlarged end of penis is called as glans penis, is covered by a loose fold of skin called as foreskin. The male accessory glands include pair of seminal vesicle, a prostate gland, and a pair of bulbourethral gland. The secretion of these glands constitute the seminal plasma, which is rich in fructose, calcium, and certain enzymes. The secretion of bulbourethral gland also help in the lubrication of penis. So that's all for the male reproductive system. That the accessory glands are paired of seminal vesicle gland, prostate gland is single, and the pair of bulbourethral gland. With that, external genitalia is penis, and the three four lines that the external opening is the urethral meatus, and the loosely fold skin is called foreskin. These are the 2 points I have to be keep in mind. And with that, each testicular lobules containing highly coiled seminiferous tubules. Okay, that's all. We covered it in 7 minutes. That's so quick. So I'm thinking that in next 15 minutes, let's cover the female reproductive part too. It is too short to read, not that much part. Then after that, gametogenesis, menstrual cycle, with that fertilization and pregnancy. I will read these two separate topics in the night. So let's start from the female reproductive system. Okay, the female reproductive system consists of a pair of ovaries along with a pair of oviduct, uterus, cervix, vagina, and external genitalia located in the pelvic region. These part of the system, along with the pair of mammary glands, are integrated structurally and functionally to support the process of the ovulation, fertilization, pregnancy, birth, and child care. Ovaries are the primary female sex organ that produce the female gamete ova and several steroid hormones, ovarian hormones. The ovaries are located one on either side of the lower abdomen. Each ovary is about 2 to 4 centimeter in length and it is connected to the pelvic wall and uterus by the ligament. Each ovary is covered by the thin epithelium which enclose the ovarian stroma. Each ovary is covered by the thin epithelium which encloses the ovarian stroma. The stroma is divided into two zones, a peripheral cortex and an inner medulla. Peripheral cortex and inner medulla. The oviduct, fallopian tube, uterus, and the vagina. The fallopian tube, uterus, and the vagina constitute the female accessory ducts. Each fallopian tube is about 10 to 12 centimeter long and extend from the periphery of each ovary to the uterus. The pars closer to the ovary is the funnel-shaped infundibulum. The edges of the infundibulum possess finger-like projections called the fimbriae, which help in the collection of the ova after ovulation. The infundibulum leads to the wider part of the oviduct called the ampulla. The last part of the oviduct, isthmus, has a narrow lumen and its joins the uterus. The uterus is a single and it is also called as womb. Womb. The shape of the uterus is like inverted pear. It is supported by ligaments attached to the pelvic wall. The uterus pushes onto into vagina through a narrow cervix. The cavity of the cervix is called the cervical canal, which, along with the vagina, form the birth canal. The wall of the uterus has three layers of tissues: the external thin membrane called the perimetrium, the middle thick layer of smooth muscles called the myometrium, and the inner glandular layer called the endometrium. Inner glandular layer endometrium that lines the uterine cavity. The endometrium undergoes cyclic changes during the menstrual cycle, while the myometrium exhibits a strong contraction during the delivery of the baby. The female external genitalia include mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, hymen, and clitoris. Mons pubis is cushion of fatty tissue covered by skin and pubic hair. The labia majora are fleshy folds of tissues which extend down from the mons pubis and surrounds the vaginal opening. The labia majora are fleshy folds of the tissues that extend down from the mons pubis and surround the vaginal opening. The labia minora are the paired folds of tissue under the labia majora. The opening of the vagina is often covered by partially by a membrane called the hymen. The clitoris is a tiny finger-like structure which lies at the upper junction of the two labia minora. Upper junctions of the two labia minora above the urethral opening. Urethral opening के ऊपर clitoris है, याद रखना है ना. The hymen is often torn during the first coitus intercourse. However, it can also be broke by a sudden fall or jolt. Insertion of the vaginal tampon, active participation in some sports like the horseback riding, cycling, etc. In some women, the hymen persists even after coitus. In fact, the presence or absence of a hymen is not a reliable indicator of virginity or the sexual presence. A functional mammary gland is a characteristic of all the female mammals. The mammary gland are paired structure breast that contain glandular tissues and variable amount of fats. The glandular tissue of each breast is divided into 15 to 20 mammary lobes containing clusters of cell called alveoli. The cells of alveoli secrete milk which is stored in the cavity lumen of the alveoli. The alveoli open into the mammary tubules. The tubules of each lobe join to form a mammary ducts. Several mammary ducts join to form a wider mammary ampulla which is connected to the lactiferous duct through which the milk is sucked out. So first of all, this is come mammary lobe, then mammary tubes, then mammary ducts, then mammary ampulla, and then lactiferous duct. Okay, this is done for our female reproductive part. With that, we will take a look on the diagrams, and I will read the diagrams in the evening session. That's all for the human reproduction, male and female reproductive part we have covered. So have a nice day, friends.